And good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to Undercover ET. Guys, we've got a mixed bag for you today. We're going to look over what the previous presidents have said regarding UAP, UFO when they've been asked about it. Always really interesting because I like to read body language and also take in what they're saying. Sometimes they say more than they want to. Sometimes they're just blatantly telling you the truth. They're not going to say anything, but they put a smile on to make the crowd laugh, right? So we're going to look at all of those. We've also got some video that's from Mount Fuji. I don't know if it's a UAP. Could be a meteor, but I'll try and give you guys a comparison and let you guys know why we should be looking at something like that. And also micro UAP. Chris Carncross has been at it again. Obviously, he's captured Gordon, what I call Gordon, from his back garden before. And this is a triangular shaped UFO. Zips across his garden. He's captured it multiple times now. I've also captured the same thing above my tree line here in Wiltshire, England. And I was first to do it on my live stream, and it's just blown up since then, right? During that time, the guy that purchased the camera for me to get going was called Gordon. And I said to him, if we ever capture something compelling, we'll call it Gordon. That week, we captured Gordon, a triangular-shaped UFO. Darts right across the tree line, super fast. I have to slow it down in order for you guys to see it. It's not great quality because I was live, okay? So it wasn't the best, but it does pop up 27 minutes odd later, and it comes from behind the trees and just glides up into the air. So amazing. And now people are aspiring to try and capture the same thing. And it's funny because I interviewed Jack Connor not so long ago. He went to an ayahuasca event and he was actually advised to film above the trees because that's where they show themselves quite often. And it's funny that he mentions that in the interview because that's exactly what we'd been doing prior to him telling me, and we were capturing stuff. So it seems to be happening for Chris as well, and for a few others. I know Maggie Walsh has also captured a Gordon or a similar type of Gordon, literally flinging itself out of the tree. So there is something in it, guys. So we've got to look at it. And the whole micro UAP topic, that's a real thing as well. And I'm going to prove to you why we should be looking at micro UAP. I feel like Chris has captured something really, really good. So without further ado, please like and subscribe. As always, we do need your support. Support the public's evidence. Support disclosure. Let's go. All right, so UAP reporting centre over on X right now. Very strange fireball descending over Mount Fuji, Japan on February 1st. There have been multiple reports of similar objects coming down in this exact same area in recent past. So what keeps showing up over Mount Fuji? Question mark. It's a good question. It's a fair question. And you can see how, you know, it looks like a comet, right? Looks like it's, to be honest, like I would expect it to have burnt up by now, judging how low it's vanishing behind Mount Fuji there. I don't know, but it's a shame there's no volume to this. The reason why I bring it up, because they mention that there's been multiple occurrences of this happening in the same area now. And what does this remind you of, guys, other than a meteor or something? It reminds me of the backyard alien sightings in Las Vegas. Remember that kiddo? That family that reported the sighting? Let's have a look.
It began with a police body camera recording a fireball falling from the sky. A Ring camera then picked up what sounded like a crash. One family in a ranch-style home had a much closer...
Just going back over, you can see the colour of it there. It's exactly the same, right? Now, some would say, well, that's a meteorite as well, and the family were talking rubbish. For anyone that's looked at the case, for the amount of effort that went into it, the police saw this, then he got a report from the family, he went there, next day, like, CIA or whoever went and installed cameras for the protection of the family. Then the family started reporting strange things happening, like things hovering on a table, things moving, they could hear footsteps. And I think they felt compelled to actually leave the property, the family home. I'm not too sure if they have. I'm not too sure what's happened. But a lot went on. The cameras that were put up in the house to protect them came down like 2 days later. I think because people found out and there was wind that happened. There was a loud bang. There were, in my opinion, beings in that back garden. on that night. I've analysed the footage in previous videos. If you want me to do it again, for those that have just joined the channel, let me know in the comments. I will happily do it again, but I won't do it on this one. So I just wanted to show you how similar that object looks to the one I've just shown you here at Mount Fuji. Potential, when you're getting regular occurrences of the same thing or similar thing coming down in the same area, you have to look at it. You have to look at it. Now, what's the chances of comets coming down in the same area around Mount Fuji? I don't know. I don't know what the odds with that would be if you had one a year or one every 2 years or whatever. It's a big ass sky, big ass planet. I would say that it's probably not unheard of, but it's probably not common either. So yeah, worth looking at, worth noting. Maybe there's something around Mount Fuji that we just don't know about. You know, these things are landing potentially. Who knows? Who knows, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right, and also with UAP Reporting Centre, give him a follow as well, by the way, if you haven't. If you're on X, give him a follow. I'll leave the link in the description below. Every US president eventually gets the UFO question. From awkward laughs to carefully chosen words, watch how their answers change depending on who's asking and when. Coincidence or something else?
Through the secret files, the UFO documents. Because if I was president, that'd be the first thing I did.
You know, it's funny. My daughters asked the very same question.
They did?
Yeah.
UFOs. You've been the president. You've seen all the info. Are they real?
The truth is that we've never proved one, but there are things flying around up there that we haven't fully identified yet.
Would you be allowed to tell your daughters what was in those files?
No.
You would not?
No.
Now that you're out of office, you can do anything you want, right?
True, yeah. But I'm not telling you.
You're not telling... You're not telling me what? Are you not telling me that you looked at them?
I'm not telling you nothing.
If I was the president, and it's unlikely that that is ever going to happen.
You never know.
My hand would just, it'd still be hot from touching the Bible, and I would immediately race to wherever they have the files about Area 51 and the UFOs, and I'd go through everything to find out what happened.
Right.
Did you do that?
That's why you will not be president. Because that's the first thing that you would do.
If you become president, are you really going to tell the truth about UFOs?
I have said I want to open the files as much as we can. But there are enough stories out there that I don't think everybody is just sitting, you know, in their kitchen making them up.
Recently, when UFOs came up on Jimmy Kimmel, she corrected his terminology.
And you know, there's a new name. It's unexplained aerial phenomenon.
All this talk about dem aliens with the you know, what are they, UAFs or whatever they call them, you know, all the footage and everyone talking about it. It's like, but I was wondering if you have a theory about that.
Well, when it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air.
Explore.
I can't reveal anything.
Oh, really? Because President Clinton said he did go right in and he did check and there was nothing.
Well, you know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Are there really great secrets that you know that you can't share with people?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are. And you never write about them?
No.
Maybe at a time in your life that you're like, oh, I'm 90, I'm going to do it.
No.
No, nothing. What if you were to get like a little like loopy, you know, you get old and
start drinking again?
Start drinking again.
UFOs, did you ask about that?
Certainly asked about it.
And?
Can't tell you.
Now, did you notice in every single clip, when every single question was asked, the crowd laughed and the presenter tried to make something amusing out of it, you know? Just because it's a show and it's entertainment, and they're not fully on board. So, you know, they're not doing it because they're part of the control group, guys. They're doing it because there's always been a lot of stigma around UAP, UFO. But if you look at what the presidents actually said, the previous presidents, they felt uncomfortable, and all of them pretty much said, I can't talk about it. I feel like the end clip there was pretty decent because he asked Obama outright, and he could have just said, no, they're not real, there's no evidence. But he just said, I'm not allowed to say. Basically means he probably knew, they probably know, that at some point this is going to come out, and they cannot outright just deny it because they will get asked maybe later down the line, why did you outright deny it? At least they've turned around and said, yeah, we can't say it. But the fact that people laugh is because they don't realise that the technology that these guys actually possess, that they know about, that the military have, could change the lives of everyone for the better. And they don't tell you. And you laugh when the question is asked. Not you, but people, right? So this is where it's completely messed up. People don't realise how serious this is. And if aliens did turn up, and I'm not going to call them aliens anymore, right? But if our neighbours, our cosmic friends, neighbours, whatever, turn up, I'd love to get to know what they know. I'd love to get to know who they are, where they're from, how many species there are. All this stuff, which honestly, like 90% of the world would love to know all that information. But the reason why 90% of the world laugh it off is because they simply do not believe it's true. And that's why UAP, UFO disclosure is so important. Because even though you go, yeah, it must be real, there must be life out there, you can be shown loads of different pieces of evidence and still be in complete denial because you haven't seen the big saucer with the green man coming out. You haven't had that yet. Look, when we say we're not alone, we're not talking about sources all the time. We're talking about multi-dimensional beings that can pop in and out of existence. And yeah, there are some probably in our dimension, in space, on Earth, underground, and there's likely interdimensionals as well. Crazy, but it's true. And when we're talking technology, this technology truly is unlimited free energy, and what we could do with that would be amazing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. It's unfortunate that people do laugh, but at the same time, these presidents, they got put in an uncomfortable place, and you could see they were trying to be very careful about what they were saying. Bush, he was like, I would never admit it, period, never. But there's something to admit. That's the key element. Thanks very much, UAP Reporting Centre. Love it. All right, on to Elon Musk. This is where I try not to get political, but the secrecy is deep, guys. And I purposely showed you the presidents talking about UAP, UFO disclosure, because secrets are secrets, and this is still a secret. Elon says, this is how I knew so long ago that Reid Hoffman went to Epstein's island. Epstein used Reid being there to try and get me to go, not realising that it would have the opposite effect. Let's have a read of the email. From Jeffrey to Elon, subject date Thursday the 11th of December 2014. Reid was on the island last weekend. Do you think he will be in the Carib, as in Caribbean, for Christmas or New Year's? ? That was from Jeffrey Epstein to Elon Musk. I don't see how that absolves you, Elon. I don't see how you're trying to push back the invitation through this email, mate. It doesn't make sense. All this email says to me is you were in contact with a convicted paedophile because he was convicted in 2008, and it's now December 2014. So you're in contact with a convicted paedophile, clearly talking about Reid was, Reid being on the island. So I'd love to know what the previous email was, if Reid was even mentioned. And do you think you'll be in the Carib for Xmas and New Year's? So the guy, this paedophile convicted, right, is asking you, Elon, where you're going to be for Christmas and New Year's. All this email shows me is that you were friendly with the guy. Someone who was convicted in 2008. So do you know what this shows me? All I can take from this post, Elon, is you're nervous. You're nervous. Now, I know you're calling for people to be interviewed and you're like, zero arrest is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. But do you know what else is unacceptable, Elon? If you claim... let me just read this again. This is how I knew so long ago that Reid Hoffman went to Epstein Island. Epstein used Reid being there to try and get me to go, not realising that it would have the opposite effect. Why would it have the opposite effect, Elon? Is it because you knew what was going on in the island? Because failing to mention rape and trafficking and manipulation of young girls on a private island is a pretty big deal. Now you could claim that it wasn't that. I just didn't want to go. I didn't like Reid. fine. But I'm sure there's plenty of emails between you and Reed that are just waiting to be picked up, right? So look, I don't know. In my world, in the real world, in the world of real people that don't live in their own bubble, if we don't like someone, we don't have any contact with them. And if we do, the contact is not normally great. You know, or it's short. It's kept sweet. I wouldn't have contact with a convicted paedophile, and I certainly wouldn't be having conversations with him about what I'll be doing at Christmas and New Year's. No matter what my interests were, no matter how big my bank account could get through business deals and what else, it's unethical. So you need to explain yourself, in my opinion, a little bit more. And it's not that I'm trolling you, Elon. I'm actually disappointed. Actually disappointed. This world, I felt, was going to be a safer place with people like you. Innovation, giving out jobs, asking the right things of the world, you know, helping countries where they need it. But this is scandalous. You need to explain yourself. You do. Also, you have a point. 0 arrests have been made. And it's crazy because, and I don't mind saying this, right? Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, he's guilty of sin, okay? And he's being left to sit in a residence, a nice residence, and as long as he keeps quiet, apparently, I don't think he's going to be touched. I know a lot of people are calling for him to come forward in the US. Damn right he should, okay? Mandelson as well. You know, Mandelson's apology yesterday wasn't even a denial. He was like, look, this should have come out a lot sooner. I apologise, I stepped down. He didn't even deny it. This is how serious this is, guys. So, whilst the British hang themselves in shame, I question Elon Musk, and that's a big deal considering how wealthy he is. The fact that, I mean, I just don't get it. He comes across as a guy that is so trustworthy and wants the best for the world, best for humanity, and then he turns around and says stuff like, well, if there were aliens around Earth, I would know about it. This is the richest man in the world who owns SpaceX, and yet people like me and you, just nobodies, right? I wouldn't say nobodies, right? We're not nobodies. We're much better than that. But people like me and you that don't have all of this establishment, production around them, people around them, we can analyse UAP footage, show you it's real, and this guy who's got all the resources in the world says there's no proof and he'd know about it if there were. I'm sorry, mate. My trust has gone from like here to like here with you. And you're not even a politician. So that hurts because I don't trust politicians. I do trust people with a brain. You have sense, but you need to explain yourself. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm completely off. But nah, just not acceptable, mate. This doesn't prove nothing. All right, so quite a few of you have seen this before. If you haven't, big screen, volume up. There's a reason why I'm showing you this now, because what I'm going to show you after is a few clips from Australia, Brisbane. Chris Carncross has captured what I think a micro UAP. No volume on his recording, but on this particular one, Ben in Cornwall, he's doing some tricks on his bike, practicing how to handle his bike, and whilst he's doing this, he's put the camera on the floor. Something zips past incredibly fast, so fast that you hear it on the approach, and it moves the camera, guys. Now, as far as I'm aware, this was a 10-minute clip. No wind on the day, no wind gusts, no nothing, okay? So, very important. A wind gust would struggle to move the camera in a split second that objects were coming past anyway. Some would say that objects being carried by the wind. I have to disagree with you. There was zero wind in the moment before and after, and for the whole 10 minutes of the clip. But, check this out. Just going to go back for you so you can see the objects, guys, because they move fast. There's 2 or 3. There's 1. Super quick. You heard the velocity on the approach. Little saucer, super fast. Another one comes through. Look at the jump it takes there. And they look like little bugs, right? But there's no way you can hear little bugs coming on the approach with velocity like that, and they actually move the camera as they go past. It's incredible. And you can hear afterwards, look, no wind. No wind at all. Just a perfect capture. We've got so much in this clip. Anyway, there's a reason why I show you it, guys. So Chris Carncross has sent me this one, and super quick there. That for me is a Dragon UAP all day long, but it's going to be hard to accept, right? It's being filmed in a garden. There's also a white object that appears right here. Not too sure whether it's higher up. Yeah, it is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the movement on this thing up here. Look, white, black, boom, boom, boom. So yeah, already I'm like, yeah, activity. Cool. Look at this. And yeah, it comes in behind the tree. This one comes across super fast as well, guys. Look. And this is where, you know, the camera is getting attention now from these objects. Some may say they're bugs. I get it. Holy Testicle Tuesday. What was that? Okay, so yeah, this is the moment, guys. This is the moment. Look at this. Look at these objects. They come in from behind the fence. And guys, I know that's hard to accept, but Gordon has been captured from this very spot from Chris, coming down at speed that you would not want to be coming down towards the ground at. And this was a triangular shaped object. Really, really clear. I've captured the same thing out here like I showed you earlier on. So this thing comes in stupidly fast. Look at this. And I say this thing, there's multiple objects, guys. I'm just going to play that again in real time. Then I'm going to go frame by frame, slow it down for you guys, because that's incredible. All right, so let's go back. Look at this. And I mean, there it looks like a bug, right? Except the bug is flying sideways. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense. Looks like a butterfly there, right? And this one looks like a top hat flying saucer upside down. It does. This one looks like a butterfly, which I don't think it is. And then you go back, boom. What the hell is going on here? They're now little white dots. And that's quite a jump. Look at that. They're moving in sync together, guys. That's quite a jump. Not too sure what's going on here. We're getting this yellow haze again. One turns completely white. One splits into two. Again, massive jump there. We've got 3 objects now. 4 maybe here. And 1 here. 1 peeling off, I think. 1 peels off to the right. Or to your left. I mean, look at the change here. From white to black. Boom, boom. Yeah, 1's here as well. Peels off. You've got a lot of activity there, Chris. A lot of activity. And for me, this is part of it. I think this is part of it. Super quick. Really unconventional in the way that they're moving, the shape. And so, there's a lot going on, man. Okay, here's another one. A bit darker, so I'm expecting elongated, there you go, elongated shapes. Yeah. So, Chris, those objects that you're seeing in the first clip, and we'll go back to it in a second, on this one, they could be the same objects, but because it's dark in areas and then quite grey in others, you're not going to get the same detail. They're going to look like this, like pencils, when actually it's just an object moving very, very fast, and you're getting like a parallax. You see? You see how it's darker here and quite in focus, and then it leaves the darkness becomes out of focus, and then as it hits this white cloud, becomes almost invisible. And that, not saying it's, you know, to me it's moving as fast as a UAP. There's something else back there as well. But yeah, we just got to be mindful that what we think are pencils, they may not be. They may actually be very small objects just traveling with a certain type of exposure in the background, which is not allowing them to be seen at the speed that they're traveling at. And that's just down to our cameras, guys, you know. But that's what makes this clip even more. I mean, look at that straight away. Look, got this thing that turns black and white and then dips back round. This is the same object. That's super quick, super unconventional. Look at this. Super unconventional. And then you get a clear dragon that comes past here, in my opinion. Look at the jump it takes there. Boom. Look at that. Seriously quick. There's UAP activity here. It's mingling in with the surroundings. Guys, it's just going to look like bugs and birds. I have to pull you back. I have to pull you back to Ben in Cornwall. Have to, because it's so real. It's unbelievable. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know whether they're the protectors of the planet or whether they're going to take over or what their intentions are. I don't know how long they've been around for. I'd imagine they've been around for a long time. And what the ancient people, the ancient humans knew about these things. Are they being controlled? Are they controlling us? I've got so many questions, haven't you? This is why we should probably know, and we shouldn't laugh it off, because, and look, if you're on the fence with this, I can show you a real flying saucer. You guys can go, whoa, and we're back to square one, right? Because the real flying saucer has objects like this flying around it. This is where we're at, guys. And when you've got something zipping past on Ben's clip that moves the camera, that you hear the velocity as it comes past, before it even is seen on the camera, on the approach, it's very hard to deny. And this is why we need scientists, real scientists with an open mind, to look at this, analyse it, and go yay or nay. And most of them can't, in all honesty. They just put it down to a wind anomaly or something like that. But that's just guessing. That is just guessing. I just can't see it, guys. I just can't see it. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, great stuff. And just want to zoom in on this quickly. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This looks like a top hat flying saucer. I know it could be a bug with wings, right? But then why is this thing split into three all of a sudden? And then two. One type is white, then it's black, then, you know. It really is incredible. They're moving together, they're moving in unison, they're following each other, going from black to white, splitting into three there. Really good, looking like a small top hat there. Really unconventional, highly unexplainable, super fast. Well done, Chris Carncross, yet again. So that's all we've got time for today. I would suggest cameras in the skies for anyone out in Australia, that's for sure. Clearly there's activity there. We've been getting it for the past year, over a year now. Australia's been a real hotspot for UAP, but they are everywhere, guys. They are everywhere, and we get the same objects here in the UK as well. So when you can, get your cameras in the sky, email the evidence in to me, undercoveretuk@gmail.com. And also, guys, I've ordered some hoodies. I'm waiting for the design to come back and be approved. It's not a complicated design. A couple of people have already put a stamp on their size and said get it in for me. So if you are interested, let me know in the comments. The website won't be going up straight away, so you'll have to email me again, undercoveretuk@gmail.com, if you want to get a head start on one of those. But look, I'll be doing it for me and Robert, a custodian file, as well. So with that, thank you for your time. Take care. All the best. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.